Hey guys, welcome back. This is Late Night Snack.
Hi, today we're talking about the process of learning Japanese for me. Raf studied it at university, so he had a very
Structured program.
Yes, a very structured program. I, however, did not have that. I started self-teaching just a few months before I left, so I started studying maybe in September, and I left the following March. Well, let's just get right into it. Self-teaching is probably one of the most difficult things I've ever done, but by now I've kind of like picked up on a few, my process. I figured out my process. And so the very first thing that I did was I got this hiragana and katakana book. And this is to learn the alphabet because Japanese has three?
You have three alphabets.
Three alphabets. The hiragana and the katakana are the simple ones, and then there's the kanji, of course. So this is just to get you started. This book I bought it at Barnes & Noble's. It was $15. Very cheap, and we'll insert some images of what it looks like on the inside. I absolutely love this book. Each character is divided. It has its own page, and then after you go through all the characters, practicing them, there's a word practice in the back. It's really nice. We'll insert images about that. So that's kind of how I got started. And so if you're coming to teach English, if you're coming to teach English in Japan and you don't know any Japanese, maybe because your company doesn't require it, like our company doesn't require it, I still would recommend that you know the hiragana and the katakana. That's like basic. I guess right now I can say that it wasn't too tough to learn, but at the time it was like the worst thing I'd ever done in my entire life. But it's definitely essential. It's like bare minimum stepping stone if you want to come to Japan. Even if your company doesn't require you to know Japanese, I think it would be nice if you did. So that's my first step. Then after that, I found some online sources for books. I found the Genki 1 book on a website called Scribd, and the website Scribd will let you view a PDF version of like different textbooks and different workbooks, and I kind of started off with that. Eventually I got tired of not being able to take that everywhere that I go because I don't have a tablet or anything like that. So I eventually purchased the book, Genki 1, and I absolutely love this book. It's a university level book, I suppose. This is the book that some universities use.
Yeah. You can tell it's aimed to universities because the lessons will teach you how to introduce yourself to say I'm a certain grade in college or something.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really nicely structured book. Most of the lessons, they start off with a dialogue, and that kind of introduces the type of sentences and grammar that you're going to be learning in that lesson. Then it moves on to the vocabulary, and then it moves on to the grammar points, and you practice it. This book has also a workbook, and I have that too. It just basically does the same thing that the textbook does, just kind of reinforces it. So I absolutely love this book. I just work on it by myself whenever I can. I just go through it and study it and do that. My company gave me another book so that I could study, and this one is called Japanese for Busy People, and this is the Romanized version. And this book, I have a friend that used this at her university, but you can kind of tell that this one's not aimed toward university students. One of the first lessons is exchanging business cards. So you can kind of tell that this book it's kind of for like maybe business people. It's a very nice book. I checked online, they've got the kana versions,
Yeah.
They have kana versions where you can actually see like the Japanese written out instead of it kind of written out phonetically. This book is very nice. It has a similar structure as the Genki book. You have a dialogue at the beginning, and then you have some practices, and the vocabulary is at the bottom of the page, which is kind of nice because you don't always have to flip back to the beginning of the lesson. Both of the books come with a CD at the back of the book for any of the audio lessons. It's also a really nice book. I kind of had gotten used to the Genki book when I got this book, but it's still a very nice book. So, yes. And so these are my textbooks that I've got. I'm sure that some of these textbooks you can find online, like in PDF form, like the older editions. Like the Genki PDF that I had been using before was the previous edition. So maybe it was a little dated, but for the most part it was the same. So if you're trying to cut costs, you can find these different tools online. This is what I have, and both of these books I checked online. This one I bought here in Japan at a bookstore. This was 3,500 yen, so about $30, $35. So honestly, I didn't think it was too expensive. Going through college, I bought way more expensive books than this, so I didn't mind it. And this book, my company actually loaned it to me, but I checked online, and this is around $21 on Amazon. So it's a pretty good price for pretty good textbooks. So this is what I use. And now to kind of highlight like my process, because it's taken me a long time, like many months of kind of putting off studying and hating studying for it to kind of finally click. So my last study tool is the app called Quizlet. And Quizlet is an app, it's a flashcard app, and it also has a website. And you can find different flashcard sets that other people have made online, and then you could move them to your phone, like to your app, and you can study them. The website has different learning like games and different learning kind of activities. And so what I finally decided was that I was going to memorize all the vocabulary first using the Quizlet app. And the Quizlet app makes it so easy to, like, it's almost step by step. Like you study the flashcards and then you do like the order of the activities that it lists. And after I memorize all the vocabulary, going through the grammar and going through the practice activities is so much easier because I'm not flipping constantly back and forth. I've already studied the essentials. And so then going through the practices is just so much more like enriching, fulfilling. I feel like
there's a method to the madness, and
yeah.
Instead of just doing it by yourself, the app lets you progress so you can see your progress. Mm-hmm. And at the very end there's tests and there's games, so you can really enjoy that you've mastered that chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Quizlet is an amazing app, and some of the flashcard sets I've made myself, but you can find a lot of these that other people have made before. I wish I knew how to thank these people, but it's really nice because some of them you don't have to make yourself, they're already right there. So, yes.
Didn't you check ahead for Genki and Japanese for business people? Like, there's already chapters all the way up to Genki 2 book done.
Yes, I searched for the first lesson of each book, Genki and Japanese for busy people, and there's someone that made flashcards for like all the lessons in the books, and like it was just really, really, really nice. Like, I wish I could thank them in person, but it's really nice to just be able to take the flashcards, and then with the phone app, you can study on the go. You can study on the train. You can, anytime that you have even 5 minutes, you can just kind of study it. And I guess that brings me to one of the last things. I time myself every time I study, so I'm not guessing how much I studied. When I first started studying, I was just kind of like, okay, I'll start studying now, and then I'll study, and then I'll listen to music, and then I'll go on YouTube, and I'll say, yeah, I studied for an hour probably, but I really didn't. So I started setting a timer, and when I set my timer, I'll stop it if I start doing something else that's like takes longer than like a minute or two. And for every hour that I study, I have this grid that I made on Excel, and for every hour that I study, I stamp a little heart, a stamp, and so that's how many hours I've studied since I got here, which isn't very much. It's actually like 60 hours, but yeah, like 60 hours, 40 hours. It's like 45 hours. I don't know why I said 60, but every like hour that I study, I stamp, and it kind of keeps me accountable. I know for sure this is what I've studied, and like period. And I guess it's nice like filling the chart. And my big plan is that like I have actually 2 of these. I read in this book. It was some American institute did the research. And apparently it takes 1,300 hours, like study hours, for you to gain an advanced level of Japanese. And so I have 2 of these. Each one has 650 like squares. And so I hope to one day frame this puppy all filled up. So that's kind of my like visual progress. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. If you want to self-teach, it's a lot of like self-motivation, and then also like surrounding yourself with people that like are willing to help you, and like I'm very lucky I have Raph. There are a lot of conversation activities in the book, and I'm always like pulling him over to help me with the conversation. It makes it that much more fun. I'm lucky to have friends that also studied in university that if maybe Raph is busy or they're free, they will help me. I have friends that use an app called Hello Talk to find conversation partners. So if you're in the States or in another country other than Japan, try to find like people that you can talk to, or maybe you can exchange, maybe you can work on English with them or Spanish or whatever language, and they can help you with Japanese. It's like that spark, it's that motivator. My big motivation is like being able to speak with my students because they're so sweet and so nice. So I think you're gonna get the motivation from actually being able to use it. But yeah, that's basically it. Those are my tips for self-teaching. Yeah, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. It's mainly through your experience. So.
Yeah. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe there'll be more videos on like my progress, my Japanese progress. I'm still kind of like skimming the surface of the language. I'm not very far, but I do try very hard. So.
And if you guys have any ideas or helpful tips for her or anyone else, leave those tips and ideas in the comments so we can all study and learn together.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to watch our older videos. And like she said, thanks for watching. I guess I said that also. Anyways, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.
We are talking about the apps that we use in Japan that we use more than we did back home. So the useful things that we have here.
Yeah, so like Facebook, Twitter, and those are gonna be excluded just because those are used pretty much everywhere.